Unintended consequences, or maybe intended consequences, but an unintended consequence is particular pieces that are being shelved from archives because of DEI. The article we have here, and things are actually coming back to normal in some cases, was where Jackie Robinson's article on Major League Baseball's legend page on his Army history was removed from the Department of Defense website. Jackie Robinson, one of the greatest baseball players of all time, a man who literally defined the game of baseball and broke the color barriers way, way back in the day, actually has a very storied and very good story of his service of military during World War II. A lieutenant in the Army at the time had a really big and very complicated story, which involved him being court-martialed, having that court-martial overturned. But because he was dealing with the legal process, Jackie Robinson could have went and fought in World War II, like on the front lines. He didn't go with his unit because he was dealing with a court-martial based off of, let's say, some schadenfreude. Let's just leave it at that. But the action to pull his page from the Department of Defense websites, from their nomenclature, dealing with diversity, equity, and inclusion, because Jackie Robinson was black. Let that sit for a minute. Jackie Robinson and many other things that were pulled. Of course, Tuskegee Airmen documentation has been pulled, and some of it's coming back. Things on women and their work has been pulled and coming back. One of the coolest things I thought about World War II were the Navajo Code Talkers. I did like 3 reports over a span of 5 years in grade school over the Navajo Code Talkers, because that was the most awesome thing out there. They were pulled. Their information was pulled. This is not higher because they were least qualified, so they put them in there because they had to fill up ranks. They were the only people qualified to do code talking with the Navajo because they're the only people to do that. The unbreakable code from World War II. Jackie Robinson was a very qualified person that, unfortunately, because of misgivings and mistreatment, didn't get to show his qualification. I guess it's a good thing he didn't get a chance to go overseas in that case, but it was something else there. He had an assignment in what was the 761st Black Panthers Tank Battalion, and was one of the things that really was there, because he was literally told to move to the back of a bus while traveling with his fellow soldiers and their spouses, because he talked to a white spouse of another lieutenant. He actually had one of the most interesting things about what was going on, a story there, and I'm really rambling, so bear with me. Robinson wrote a letter to his commander because he needed better facilities for the black soldiers that he was in charge of. The commander, just seeing lieutenant, didn't realize he was black, dropped a bunch of N-bombs in the letter, basically saying they're not going to get it, and going back and forth, because all he saw was Lieutenant Robinson, which is where things are supposed to work out. Realized that it was not just a General Lieutenant Robinson. It's a story that goes and passes, a story that gets lost, a story that goes back and forth. Now, whether you should feel bad about that or not, that's beside the point. You shouldn't. It's history. It happened. You go with it. You say, wow, that was kind of bad. We shouldn't do that anymore. And then not do it anymore. The whole sort of young white people feel bad about what happened in the past. Just don't do it anymore. How about that? They don't really, trust me, your kids don't really feel sad about things that happened, about all those things in the past that were atrocities. They just like, y'all did that? Wow, that's weird. And they move on from that one. The ones that actually feel bad about it, those are the ones that I feel bad for now, because the way they interpret their things are a little off.